My next guest is known as the superfood hunter. Darin Olien is the author of the New York Times bestseller Super Life and the host of the #1 health and wellness podcast around, and the Darin Olien Show. He also co-hosts the Netflix series Down to Earth with Zac Efron about the global search for healthy, sustainable ways to eat and live. Skyping from his yurt in Malibu. Welcome, Darin Olien, our first yurt guest of the season, and I love it. Let me tell you, Darin, I have to say, I notice every episode Zac shouts out your book. It was in 2017 that this book, Super Life, came out. It recently hit the New York Times bestseller list again. I got my copy from my best friend's mom, Mary Foy. I have a picture of her posed with it. She even wrote you a letter asking, and I promised Miss Foy, I've known her my whole life, I'd started this conversation off with her question, which is, when will you have more down-to-earth episodes?
Oh man. Well, we're in negotiations right now, so hopefully, fingers crossed, and a lot of love being put out there that we sort that out, and we hope to do that. So officially, let's pray for that. We
Absolutely.
all want to do that.
And we want to see it. Now, you share in the book that you first made the link between what you put in your body and how you felt when you were only 13 years old. I guess, what was it that led to that connection, especially so early in your life?
Well, it was funny because it went all the way back to the genesis of being born. I was 2 months early. I was 3.5 pounds. This was in 1970. And so there was a high chance that I wouldn't survive.
Mm.
So I had a lot of issues. Obviously, I survived, but it created a cascade of kind of catch up moments for me. I had a resting heart rate of 120 beats per minute when I was 10 years old. My thyroid
Oh my
was
gosh.
off. My lung development was lower. So there was a lot of the signaling in my life was this is a dangerous life, and we don't have much control. And so I'm a small town kid from Minnesota, and I wasn't growing up with parents giving me, special foods or
Right.
anything. It was just normal.
Right. And you
And
turned
so
this you turned
yeah.
this, Darin, into this life where you talk about being a small town kid from Minnesota. You ended up traveling like 30 countries around the world looking for superfoods. I've been in morning TV for 20 years. We've done salmon and kale and blueberries and all these other superfoods, but you go far deeper. And I have one of the things that you found, it's a nut. You say it's the healthiest nut in the world, and you found it through traveling through Brazil.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of how I've discovered stuff is I was looking at something else, and this one I ran into this guy who knew of this nut in the savannah of Brazil.
I
Yeah,
dropped my
so
I dropped one. I'll eat it off the floor. There's a 3-second
yeah,
rule
so
here.
it's a wild food in the savannah of Brazil, and the savannah of Brazil is south of the Amazon, which is 500 million acres.
Mm.
And these are wild. They are not cultivated. They are from a barozeda tree that this nut falls down on. So we literally saw that this nut had more nutrients than any nut ever tested, more fiber, lower calories, complete protein, micronutrients, as well as deeply connected to the indigenous people, as well as helping to support the environment because the environment is being encroached upon in a huge way from unsustainable farming practices and beef cattle. So the more we create demand for these nuts, the more we also have a tree planting program. So the customers get to benefit by this incredibly tasting, delicious, nutrient dense nut, as well as the environment gets supported and the indigenous people on the land get supported.
People will want to know where they can get it. I haven't tried it yet. I've just peeled the shell off of it. Tell me, where do they get it?
Yeah, so they can get it. We're huge online right now, barukas.com. So Barukas. And they can get it. And now there's a lot of demand for retail. We've just slowly expanded it so that the indigenous people can grow with us
Mm.
and support the land of planting
It's
trees. So
tasty. It's tasty. And I love your life's work of discovering these superfoods that are out there. You also have what you call the 5 life forces that are key to being healthy. What are those 5 life forces?
Yeah, so in the book, I kind of broke down in different ways of looking at health, and one is obviously nutrition is one of the main focuses, and that focus is really around whole food, plant-based diversity, right?
Mm,
We all know that focus ourselves in nature, aligned with nature, without chemicals, without pesticides, without herbicides, whole healthy plants, diversification of antioxidants
mm,
and fiber, and when you eat a diversification of plants, the cool thing is you get enough protein because every plant, every fruit, every vegetable has protein, legumes, nuts, seeds, all of those things. So eat closer to nature,
mm.
try to eat mostly raw, and that's your first life force. And the other one is another big one is water. We
Yeah.
covered in the episode and
Yeah.
a little bit in Down to Earth as well. And start your day with one big fresh glass of water. I that's a big rabbit hole of cleaning water and then reconstructing it again. It's very important because yes, we have water in our tap, but it's also not the best for our cellular
Right.
hydration. So super important to
Which is
get the
on your
hydration.
hydration is on your 5 life forces: detoxification,
Yep.
oxygenation, and alkalization. And you outline all of these in your book. Darin, I just think it's phenomenal that people have taken and gravitated to the book a few years after it was published and that it is back on the bestsellers list. And we appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm glad you and your audience is getting exposed to some new great superfoods as well as just very solid principles of health
Mm,
that if they apply that, it can give dividends for not only the moment but the future of their life.
wow.